Today, we are checking out every animation technique explained in 12 minutes. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and you can check out my reactions to probably a lot of anime that are shown here. The full link's over on Patreon, a lot of them already on the YouTube channel.
What do you think of One Piece? I think it's mid.
Shut the fuck up in 2024!
Before actually explaining stuff, first, thank you to Arakindo for the idea, so I can steal his content and do it for my own benefit. And second, I get that some of these aren't technically techniques, but come on guys, I'm talking to the Sagotards. It's borderline a technique, okay? So please, Dad. Impact frames occur when impact happens, like a punch, explosion, you name it. To fully emphasize it more, it's a more stylized drawing, usually flashing for a couple of milliseconds, but sometimes animators like to draw a crazy number of impact frames. Take this cut by Vincent Chanzard, or this one by Shushita. Also, animators either tend to draw them black and white or colored ones, although Yutaka Nakamura usually likes to use them differently compared to what they were meant for. He plays the impact frames more so to make scenes, I guess, flashier, and other animators use it like this too nowadays. I mean, come on, it's Utapon. Kutsuna Lightning is basically a technique of drawing lightning that moves very zigzaggy. It was created by Kenichi Kutsuna, as you see by the name, same thing. Very big name in the industry, has directed and animated a lot of stuff.
When was it
popular
created?
Technique when it comes to drawing lightning, or maybe the only method of drawing lightning. A lot of webgen animators now also use this method of animating. That's why it's more common and popular now, because nowadays webgen animators are just everywhere, even making the highlights for episodes. Smears are created by stretching.
Wait, what kind of animators? Did he say webtoon animators?
Use this method of animating. That's why it's more common and popular now, because nowadays webgen animators are just everywhere.
Webgen? What is a webgen animator? What does that even mean? Is that like a specific software? Webgen? I've never heard of this software. I don't know shit about animation. Basically, animators from Twitter. Oh.
Even making the highlights for episodes. Smears are created by stretching and morphing the drawing. It can be used to make the
I like a good
more
smear.
Fluid.
Smears are nice. Smears are we love smears. Smears are necessary.
Not like fluid in a way like smooth, but more like to insinuate character movement, make more sense, and to convey speed. That's also a good way. Or some people can pause it and say, bad animation. There's a lot of ways that animators draw smears. Some draw it very spiky, like Yutaka Nakamura.
Yeah, that's the classic way. Oh, this is becoming a lot more common though. This one,
or very wobbly, like Vincent Chanzard. Of course, there's a lot of other ways. In more Western shows / cartoons, they use like after images for smears. Cubic debris is, the name says it, when debris are cubes. Yep. That's it. Next one. It's a stylistic choice just for visual pleasurement, and maybe that's just how the animator likes to draw debris. Of course, this is a more unrealistic way of drawing debris, but who really cares? It looks cool. You know,
it looks cool.
You can draw them like chunks, big cracks, but it's anime, so you gotta give it that oomph sometimes, so that it's more bombastic. I think a good example
Making
is
it cubes is cool.
That uses cubic debris quite a bit. But wait, isn't cubic debris the same thing as another thing? That's the next one? Well, not really. Utapon cubes and cubic debris aren't the same thing. To be honest, you can call Utapon cubes cubic debris, but in a technical sense, Utapon cubes are more timing dependent. There's a big emphasis on the hold and release, where for cubic debris, it just flies around everywhere.
But with the Utapon cubes, it comes out and it kind of like slows down for a second.
Sense of timing. The usage of Utapon cubes was popularized by Yutaka Nakamura. This is like the first, second, third time I already mentioned him. He drew debris like this because he believed that it was easier to draw, because cubes are easy to draw with different perspectives, and he was inspired by other animators that use this type of debris, one of them being Satoru Utsunomiya. He uses this technique way back, and again, it's very popular among webgen animators. If you don't know what webgen animators mean, it's basically a quote-unquote generation of animators that draws digitally, and more so got into the anime industry with a portfolio of animation, and like in Twitter they get contacted from producers. They also progress.
Okay. See, I was literally just asking. I didn't know they were gonna tell me. Oh, thank you.
Fast. Now there are some of the big names in the industry animating or directing in big name shows. Rotoscoping is basically tracing over
rotoscoping. I'm very aware of rotoscoping.
Footage or CG models. While sometimes people don't like the usage of rotoscope because it might look a bit too uncanny and realistic, which I don't get that statement, because there's animators that their work gets called rotoscoping, but it's not. Like Takashi Honda, Keisuke Kobayashi, Myon or Myon, and a lot more. You still need talent to trace the live action footage to anime because the proportions are different. You're not gonna have someone like Sukuna IRL that has the same proportions at... Okay, I might be wrong. You still need to do
Yeah, exactly. Like it just gives you an idea of like the type of motion the character would make and like where they would be in the frame. That's all the rotoscoping really does. It's necessary to get an idea of like if a person does this movement, how should I make the arm look when they do this movement? That's what it's for. You still have to fill that in with the character. You're not just tracing the actual person and then like kind of making them look like your character. No, like exactly what he's saying. The proportions are completely different. It's just a good way to get an idea of the framing of a shot and then the actions of a character within the shot.
the character's hair, build in mind. There's still good examples of good usage of rotoscoping. It is still a hard process to do because you are most of the time drawing more frames for it, and it's basically to map out the movements and perspectives alone. Ufotable uses a lot of CG to map out scenes, but still, if you see the CG, most of the time it's very rough layout of just stick figures maybe. An example for live action rotoscoping used a lot is Sung Park's God of High School. They use a lot of them so that the fights look more fluid and the choreography is better. I mean, Sung Park can animate as good as that, but if you don't have time to finish the work, rotoscoping can look bad. I mean, take this shot.
Oh.
If you don't have time to finish the work, rotoscoping can look bad. I mean, take this shot.
This is weird.
Kannada style animation is a style where there's a lesser amount of drawings with very aggressive poses and perspectives. It was created by Yoshinori Kaneda, one of the most influential animator. He created this style because he wanted to do more work in a not so good of a schedule for shows. So he came up with animating scenes with lesser amount of drawings, but still have that flair to it, giving him more ample time to animate more stuff. But of course, he animates normally when there's more time in like movies. This style is still very popular, animators getting inspired with this type of animation. I mean, if you're talking about style slash inspo with animators, there's Norio school animators, Yotapon inspired animators, Shinro Oihira style animators, and a lot more. The most popular examples when it comes to Kannada style are Yoshimichi Kamada, Toshiki Sato, Kai Igarashi, etc. There's even studios that their animation philosophies is based on Kannada style. Back then we had Gainax with that, but after a couple of Gainax staff left to make Trigger, now Trigger is the powerhouse when it comes to Kannada style animation. Even studios like Sansaro, it's kind of almost like Kannada style. It's basically Kannada style, but not to the extent of Trigger. And you can find some of the best Kannada style animators that solely work for the studio and sometimes do freelance work. Oh, Shinji, this is not a technique, it's a category. Shut up. Background animation is where the animator actually draws the background. Not only that it's time consuming, it's very hard to do because you need to understand depth and perspectives. Usually if you see background animation...
Oh, I see what they're saying. So like the animator animating the stuff going into it, like animating the actual like action and everything is also animating the background. Yeah, typically you have like specific people working on backgrounds.
Are more simplified. There's two other background usage, that is illustrator backgrounds and CG backgrounds.
God, the illustrated backgrounds are so beautiful.
Sometimes the animator only animates a certain background, like the floor, and the rest is an illustrated background. Nowadays, CG backgrounds are more and more common because of how the industry
CG backgrounds
works.
are very common nowadays, I swear.
Now giving shitty deadlines. Even if there's still animators that are capable of animating large amount of background animation, even in a horrible schedule, but now CG backgrounds are getting better and it's easier, of course.
Yeah.
Of course, there's exceptions. Itano Circus is a name where a character, he could be controlling a mecha or jet too, dodging or getting pursued by a bunch of...
CG backgrounds, I think, work better when it is not dealing with nature environments. I think they work so much better when it comes to like cityscapes and, you know, inside buildings especially. It's going to work a lot better.
Projectiles, it could be missiles, lasers, tentacles.
Oh, this is the thing that we learned from Zenshu.
Even chains and more. The creator Ichiro Itano first used this style of shot in an episode of Densetsu Kyojin Ideon. Wait, Kyojin? Hence the name Itano because the animator's name, and circus, maybe because it looks like a circus, I don't know. It was popularized in 1982 with the series Super Dimension Fortress Macross.
Yep.
While back then...
And that is literally, I think, the comp that's made in Zenshu.
It's mainly used in mecha shows since there's a lot of missiles in them. Now it's seeping into other genres of anime and even in mainstream shows like JJK. Character acting is a category of animation, but shh, don't tell anyone. Character acting is characters acting. It's a lesser, more appreciated thing compared to like action. I'm not talking about every time characters move. No, this is not character acting. This is character acting. There's more to it. Whether it's facial expressions, movement, there's a lot of subtleness to it. Take the Umehara line in Cloverworks. Their shows are filled with amazing character acting. Even animators tend to say character acting is the hardest
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a little confused on what the fuck character acting is.
thing to do because you have to take in mind the characteristics of the person you're animating. Of course, action needs a higher bar to have in your show. There's a lot of style that animators animate character acting. It could be in a very fluid manner, very exaggerated, or even low frame count. Kagenashi or Zenkage is
Wait, so what the fuck is character acting? Showing the character's personality through actions. It's actually when characters move a lot. Animating really like facial movements, head tilts, hair, and like subtle gestures, subtle like facial movements and stuff. Are those all character acting as well? So it's just basically not PNG locked characters. Yeah, I don't fully understand how that's an animation technique, but thank you for the explanation, I guess.
a technique meaning shadowless. It's a style where shadows are non-existent. It's mostly used either for a visual style or making things less complicated. If your characters move a lot more, it's gonna take
It's so
more
much
time
easier to
for
just
the
remove
animators
the
to draw the
shadows.
lines of the shadows and the coloring department to color those things. A very popular example is with Naruto Shippuden. The colors were very one-dimensional so that the drawing could move more. Clearly it works. Some of the
And it's so necessary with a show that was like Naruto Shippuden and stuff because they're on a weekly schedule. Throwing shadows all over the place too is just going to be it's going to be impossible. You're not going to be able to get the next week's episode out.
most popular fights have Kagenashi. Also, there's Norio school animators take very big inspiration from Norio Matsumoto that disregard the overall visual quality so that the movement can be very fluid. Of course, I'm not saying it's easier technically. Shadows are there to convey depth that leads to very detailed drawings, but in the Kagenashi style, you don't have shadows for that. So mostly the animators have to focus on either the line work or how they draw the characters. Ebata walk is a distinct style of a walk cycle. The inventor, Ryuma Ebata, a very talented animator, mostly focusing on character acting animation, but can do action really good too.
Okay.
He's also well known for being the character designer for Slime and likes to solo key animate, direct, and storyboard openings / endings. He has a very bouncy style of character acting, so his
Like this thing. Okay. I remember that
Ebata
opening.
walk is for the bounciness and swagginess of the walk cycle, with very good subtle details like the hand swinging, the expression, and hair animation. He also
Bouncing
makes the
the
characters
hair,
very
okay.
angular shaped, like Kaneda style, but not really. It's in a more fluid nature, so it's easier to draw. Umakoshi eye is a structure of a cut that gives a lot of emphasis on the eye. You usually can zoom into the eye in the various angles. It was made by Yoshihiko Umakoshi, a veteran animator, and now he's mostly known for being the character designer in My Hero Academia. It's a quite common storyboarding technique, or it could be the animator that adds the Umakoshi eye. Usually it's used for when some sort of projectile, maybe like a laser.
Dude, we've been seeing a lot of eye shit in... Dude, where have we been seeing a lot of eye stuff? One Piece? They've been zooming in the eyes like a motherfucker in One Piece. We've been getting a lot of eye action sequences in anime where they just show what's happening in the eyeball. You know what I mean? Like we just like zoom into the eye and then there's just, you see like whatever's going on in the eye.
Coming close to a character's face. Coming close.
Oh,
Wait a second. Or when a character is charging up a punch, then zooming into the eye. Timing is a more broader technique that animators should have a good grasp on. It's one of the most important aspects when animating, mainly to convey more impact or strikes. There's a lot of stuff it could do, either if it's in the action department or the character acting. The previous thing I discussed, Kaneda style, is lesser amount of drawing, but it can still convey everything that a higher amount of frames can do. I'm talking also about when to slow down cuts or speed up cuts to maybe emphasize speed, strike, or just a better way of structuring your sequence. In animation, there's animating in ones, which is 24 FPS, 2s, which is 12 FPS, and 3s are 8 FPS. I don't know if I can find an example of a sequence animated in 4s. Editor me, did you find any? Yes. Can you cut to the next part? It's the amount of frames slash drawings in a single second. Usually most of the time shows tend to animate in twos, but when the big moments hits, animators tends to draw them in different frames. Take Nozomu Abe, he likes to animate in ones or a mix of ones and twos. There's also a thing called in-betweenings. It's basically filling in the gaps left by the key animator. If you don't know the process of animating a scene, there's the storyboard, then an animator does the rough layout, key animation slash Genga work, then in-betweening slash Doga work, and the other stuff too, like coloring and compositing. There's also notes by the key animator about the timing and spacing for the scene. In the industry now,
that's cool.
Usually most of these are by different people. It's best that these three components should be by the same person. Take Daniel Kim. Even in the worst managed production, JJK Season 2, his cuts still look amazing and fluid because those three stuff are by him. I think good and bad in-betweenings can also be a factor, because if the Dogaman is missing, like in Windbreaker, then it will look pretty choppy. Of course, animating in a higher frame count doesn't mean it can like convey speed better. No, that's why timing and a lot of other aspects are very important, like poses is important too. Obari Punch is mainly a punch where it usually goes to the camera. It was invented by the animator Masami Obari, and it first appeared in the anime Fight Igris 1? Fight Igzer 1? The common movement that occurs so that it can be named Obari Punch is the initial pose, a pulling back of the punching arm, a thrusting chest and head tilt, and finally the punch itself towards the camera. There's a lot of variations of it, could be also with weapons in a rare occasion, or can be structured differently, but that's the common movement that can be labeled Obari Punch. That's all of it. There's a lot of more techniques, maybe. I mean, I could milk out 15 more for part 2 if this video does well. I tried to
I could milk 15 more for part 2. Yeah.
Well, yes, it's good to learn some of these stuff, but some of the techniques are very simple to explain, and I do think there's not much enjoyment to watch that. But anyways, if you guys like this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a like. Comment down below what your thoughts about some of these techniques, whether you didn't know about them or not. And
yeah, I mean, I feel like I knew about some of these. A lot of these I can recognize, right? Like, for example, I think of very important ones, impact frames. I never really considered the lightning to be like from a specific source. I still wonder where it began. Smears, I'm very aware of smears. Cubic debris, I thought that just like kind of was the Yutapon cubes. But I guess cubic debris has existed before Yutapon cubes. I'm very aware of Yutapon cubes. I'm aware of rotoscoping. And I wasn't aware of the specific terminology for this Kanada style. But the Kanada style is kind of like that lesser, like it's kind of like a less is more style, right? I kind of want to go back over the Kanada style. I don't think I completely understood that.
Is a style where there's a lesser amount of drawings with very aggressive poses and perspectives. It was created by Yoshinari Kanada, one of the...
Yeah, I still don't exactly understand what that means. Less drawings, more exaggerated poses. Oh, okay, I think I get it now. So just more like, really extra. Okay, cool. By the way, just random info, the creator of this video rated you 3 streams ago. Really? Yeah, but I think that, you know, background animation, I did notice that there are like levels to background animation. You know, I could tell some are CG, some are done by like the background drawing department, the one that like the illustration, when he said that background illustrations, you typically have like a team working on backgrounds. Yeah, and then obviously you can tell when it's made by the animator itself because it's gonna look flat and not impressive. I was aware of the Itano Circus specifically because of, again, Zenshu. The character acting, I still don't really understand. Just more expressive animation, I guess. Kagenashi, that's like the shadowless, right? The Ebata walk I learned literally because of that opening for Slime. I remember people mentioning the walk. But yeah, man, that was really interesting. That was really great. I liked learning a little bit more about animation. If you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go check out the video for yourself. That way you don't have to deal with me pausing and interrupting and being annoying the entire time. The link will be down in the description. If this video performs well, I'll check out the part 2, because why not? You know, if he made a part 2 because his first video performed well. Hopefully mine can perform well as a reaction, and then I can watch the second one, capitalize, and get a little more views. You know, get some more views, get some more people maybe finding the channel, subscribing. I don't know. Listen, if you enjoyed this, again, click the like button, leave a comment down below what you thought, and till next time, make sure you all keep it fresh. Peace.